Yes, indeed, Stephen Fry, Hugh Laurie there. Always a pleasure as we approach the end of the show. Still lots of good things to come right now, but we have to talk. When Saturday Live goes off the air, we go off the air while there is going through Parliament a bill which is to stop salacious obscenity on the television. Now, of course, we all support that. No one, I think, in this room, I hope, would want to have salacious obscenity on the television. But what is obscenity? What is this bill concentrating on? What are their examples? Are they talking about Benny Hill tearing women's clothes off at the end of the show and chasing them around the shop? Are they talking about racist gags on early evening comedy? Are they talking about Miss England beauty contest? No, they're talking about the singing detective and the monocled mutineer. Isn't that marvellous? We're being protected. Some middle-class playwright fancies a bonking scene in his play, nobody particularly watches it, and suddenly the whole British family life is under threat. What are they attacking? What is a beauty contest? What is it? They say, Miss England, a beauty contest. What does it describe? They would say, Miss England describes the legitimate admiration of the aesthetic glories of the female form. They could say, it's actually, Miss England is a legitimate effort to legitimise the idea of giving every Mr. England a stiffy, because that's what it's about, really, isn't it? I mean, I don't know how they judge it, why they judge it the way they do. Let's have a look at poise, let's have a look at what ambitions they want to do when they grow up. They should just have an erection count, shouldn't they? They should have a phone in. Well, I'm feeling a bit of a stirring in my loins, I vote for Miss Sunderland. Because that's what it's about, but that sounds very rude, doesn't it? Sounds a little bit rude, because you can have the contest, but you can't describe the secret process. Benny Hill's Angels, they're very nice, just a bit of a laugh. They're not rude, are they? But if I were to name the name for the person who sits at home watching them thinking, wow, look at them suspenders, that would be a very rude word indeed. So, what are these double standards? Why do we have them? I think it's because the majority of men fancy women, and the majority of TV executives are men. I think if TV companies were run by dogs, we'd probably have cans of dog food and bonio and chocolate drops decorating the early evening comedy shows. If it were little boys who ran the TV companies, it'd probably be Action Man and Spider-Man who was bringing on the contestants in the game shows. What is it about? All these double standards. I think there is a more sympathetic reason. The reason that female protuberances are apparently fair game for comedy on the telly, but male protuberances are not, I think, is because, let's face it, your average male protuberance does not look good. Be honest. Your average knobbly wobbly wobble. And believe me, they're all average, all right? Well, mine's not. Mine's fantastic. But apart from that, oh, bit of panto, it's the last show, I can say it. I don't know what you're talking about. Yes, indeed. Your average knobbly wobbly woo-woo does not look good. Be honest, that's it. It's not the most attractive part of the anatomy. It might feel very nice, but it looks flipping horrible. Could you honestly stare yours in its one eye and say, you're an attractive little ding-dong? You really are. No, you really are. No, you couldn't, because it's bad design. Badly designed, we've been stitched up by God. That's what happened. After God was looking down the Garden of Eden, sees old Adam strutting around, well pleased with himself. I think, I'll stitch that bloke up, eh? Thinks he's pretty pleased with himself. Bong! What the hell is that? What is that? I mean, I'm looking good, but what is this? Put it on Eve. No way. Proves God's a woman. She wouldn't put anything as horrible as that on a woman, would she? Bad design. When they're down Lamborghini, when they're having a look at the new car, when they're saying, oh, look at the new car, lovely design, lovely lines, look at them sleek aerodynamic lines, they don't say, yeah, it's not bad lines, but what about the veiny Mars bar effect? Where's that? No! I mean, when they got a new building, when they got a lovely new building looking at it, they don't say to the architect, well, fair enough, but when are you going to put the helmet on, tomorrow or what? I mean, Greek statues, huge muscles, tiny. Well, they had a good aesthetic view, didn't they? What is that about? Nobody knows. So you've got this bill. You've got this strange bill going through Parliament, and people are backing it up. Mrs. Whitehouse is coming out right in front, and what she's using as examples, she is saying, EastEnders is nothing but horrible homosexuals and salacious pornographic single mums. She is talking about lovely Colin and Michelle here. Has she got no heart? Anything can be distorted if you take it out of context. Of course it can. You take something out of context, you make anything look rotten. The Muppets, it is nothing but some randy pig slavering over a camp frog. What's that about to show our kids at 5 o'clock? Wildlife on one, all it is sex, violence, eating each other and going to the toilet in the open. I think it's disgusting. You can take anything out of context and use it to support a scabrous argument to keep us all down. I could do it. I'll turn the tables. Have you seen the Bible? It is disgusting. Shaman, Big Gap, Balthazar, and then they married each other incestuously and nailed each other to a tree, and then God got annoyed and gave them all boils. What sort of thing is that to give 5-year-olds? They're reading it. They put the Bible in hotel rooms. Gee, I mean, some pervy salesperson goes up to his room, oh, I'll dig me Gideon out, eh? What's life tonight? Sadism or incest? Yeah. Now, I know that the Bible's a beautiful book, but you can distort it if you want to, and that's what's going on. So what's the real issue behind? This bloke, this MP, can't remember his name now, he got up in Parliament, he was going on about declining moral standards in Britain. They had been in power for 7 years. What was his problem? He had counted all the swear words in The Singing Detective. All the bloodies, he counted them up. This is a member of Parliament. He's got nothing better to do with his time. He can't talk about unemployment or declining national health. No, he sits at home counting the swear words in a middle-class play. Very useful indeed. And that's what he's got. That's what he's using to have a go at us, you see. Now, I don't understand. His bill says that anything, this is it, and I'm telling you, this is the truth, I quote, watch out, it's going to happen. The bill says that they're going to have a go at anything that a reasonable person could find offensive. What is a reasonable person? Is it someone who sits at home counting the swear words on the telly? No. I think that if they're really worried about obscenity, they should worry about real obscenities. I mean, while Ben Elton's chasing the girls round the car park, there's girls who are scared to walk out at night after dark because there's no street lighting. So, ladies and gentlemen, a little bit of politics to end there. Justified it with a few knob gags, I don't mind.